A warm welcome to all the students. My name is Chef Preeti Sinhal. I'm assistant professor at ASSMS College of Hotel Management and Technology, Shivajinagar, Pune. This is the topic stocks. Part 1 I have already released. I'm showing you the part 2. So now we are going to walk through. I'm going to explain the recipe of 1 liter of various stock, in that white, brown, fish and vegetables, different reduction and glazes, and the terminologies related to the stocks. These are the various things which I'm going to cover in this topic. We have already done the types of stock in part 1, but here again we will walk. In that there are 4 types of stocks: white stock, brown stock, vegetable stock and fish stock. So many times we wonder that how we can prepare all these stock. Whenever we watch anything, any online program or any celebrity chef's video, we see that they talk about add vegetable stock or add a chicken stock or a brown stock. So let's solve that mystery and understand how the stock has been prepared. So one by one, I will go through with all the stocks. In that, I'm adding the white stock video, which will explain you a little bit with the visual thing. After that, brown stock recipe, and I'm going to explain you the steps with the help of picture. Vegetable stock and fish stock, same as well. So let's start with the first stock. Before that, there are standard procedure, or there are basic procedure for the stock making, which we are supposed to follow compulsory. In that, the first is blanching bones. What happens? Many proteins dissolve in cold water but solidify into small particles and form a scum when heated. Now, these are those particles that make the stock cloudy, and the property of our stock should be absolutely clear. So whenever we are making any dish, the result comes out as we desire. So the purpose of blanching bone is to remove the impurities and the blood that causes cloudiness. So what is the procedure? Rinse bones in cold water to wash off blood and impurities from surface. It is important if the bones are not fresh. This procedure is very important if we are using the bones which are not fresh. If it is fresh, we don't have to go through with this procedure, as it will lose the flavor and the freshness of the bones. Place bones in stock pot and cover with cold water, as impurities dissolve readily in cold water. Bring water to a boil and impurities solidify and form a scum. We have to remove the scum slowly and drain bones and rinse well. The bones are now ready for the stock pot. This is how the first procedure, and now bones are ready to prepare the stock further. So we'll start with the white stock recipe. Over here, to make the basic white stock 1 liter quantity, we need either chicken bones or veal bones or beef bones. That should be in a 600 gram of quantity. Cold water, under that meer pawa, which is the mix of onion, carrots and celery, chopped either in dices or roughly chopped. A sachet has been added, which includes bay leaf, thyme, peppercorn, parsley stem and cloves. So now we'll go through with one video which will explain you how the white stock has been prepared. Let's watch together.
Hi food lovers, welcome back to the French Cook Academy. Today we're talking about the chicken stock. So the first question I get all the time is that, do you have to buy a ready-made stock, such as this thing? This is a half a liter chicken stock you can buy in every supermarket. It's still free range, so still good. Or do you have to make your own chicken stock? Well, the short answer is stock in general can be lengthy to make, except fish stock, 25 minutes, and chicken stock, like vegetable stock, 45 minutes to an hour. So my advice is really, if you have a bit of time, you will always get better flavors if you make it yourself. And this is what we're gonna see today in the video, how to make your own chicken stock. If you want to enhance the chicken stock, take the video that we have here and add this stock instead of water, and you're gonna get a supercharged chicken stock. Now let's have a look. Today we're gonna learn how to make a chicken stock the way it's done in the professional culinary school in France. In order to realize that stock, you're gonna need carrots, onions, pricked with cloves, salt and pepper, water, organic chicken carcass, of course a stock pot, and last but not least, a supercharged bouquet garni for white stock. If you don't know how to make the bouquet garni, just look at the link above. So let's get started. Alright, so here we are. So now the first step is to get organized. Always have all of your ingredients nearby so you don't have to run around the kitchen when you're cooking. Step number one, we're gonna have to blanch our carcasses that are here. As you can see, I've chopped them up in smaller pieces so they can fit in my stock pot. I've got my heat set up to a medium to high. And to blanch these carcasses, you just need to take them and plunge them into your cold water. I repeat, you have to start this mix in cold water, not in boiling water. Alright, that's done. We're gonna be now waiting for the water to come to the boil, and when it's done, we're gonna take out the carcasses. Okay, so now our water is starting to boil. When you reach that stage, we're gonna leave the water to boil very slightly for 2 or 3 minutes. While it's boiling, as you can see, you got this white foam that starts to form on the top of the water. These are the impurities you don't want. So what we do, we're gonna try to skim them out as best as you can. It's not always easy, and it depends how many there are. So with a ladle, you kind of go around and try to clean your water. So that should do it. At this stage, you can turn your heat off, and I'm gonna take my carcasses off and reserve them in a clean container. At this stage, I'm gonna remove the water from my stock pot. I'm gonna clean my stock pot and replace the water with a fresh, clean, cold water. So same as before, this time I'm putting the carcass back into cold water. At this stage, there is no salt or pepper to be added in the water. This is just pure cold water and only the chicken. I'm gonna repeat the same process this time, waiting for the water to boil, and when the water boils, we're gonna start adding our vegetables. Okay, so our water now boils again, and as you can see, we've got a much clearer stock, and this is what we want to get. However, you still have little impurities, so you're gonna first get rid of these little white bits, because we are trying to make an excellent professional grade product. We can now add our bouquet garni, carrots, and the onion with the cloves. Note that I haven't touched my salt and pepper, and this is normal. You would never ever salt or season your stock when you're cooking it. It's only at the end that you may add a little bit of seasoning. From here, you're just gonna let your stock to simmer for around 45 minutes, which is quite a long time. So from time to time, you're gonna have to repeat the exercise of skimming any of the impurity at the top whenever they appear. After 45 minutes to an hour, you can turn your heat off and you are now ready to filter your stock. We're now ready to filter our stock. So the first step, you're gonna get rid of all the excess of chicken and large pieces of bones in your mix. When this is done, you can start bit by bit filtering your stock in your pan. When you've removed most of the liquid, as you can see here, you're only left with a little bit, then feel free to take your pan and pour everything in. Our chicken stock is now almost ready. The last thing we're gonna do is correct the seasoning. So I'm taking a little spoon, I'm gonna taste. And I'm just gonna add a little pinch of salt. Remember never to exceed 3 to 6 grams of salt per liter of stock. Once you add your salt, you give it a one last stir and your stock is now ready. So if you like the video, please subscribe.
I hope we have understood that how, or we got a very clear idea that how the chicken stock or the white stock should be made. We'll move next to the brown stock recipe. Brown stock, as the name is suggesting, that the color of this stock is itself the brown or the amber color. It's a darker color. So how do we obtain that color that I'm going to explain in the method? Over here, we are using the bones of veal or beef, cold water, again meat pawa, tomatoes or tomato puree over here we are using, which enhances the brown color. Bouquet garni, in that we are using bay leaf, thyme, peppercorn, parsley stem and cloves. This is the basic recipe. We'll move to the method over here. So how do we prepare the brown stock? If you can see in the first picture, in that you see a aluminum tray. Why do we use the aluminum tray? It retains the heat very well and it helps to caramelize the bones very well. So what we are going to do is we are going to cut bones into small pieces, place bones in roasting pan and in a hot oven at 200 degrees centigrade, and we are going to brown well. We are going to caramelize it. After that, we are going to remove the bones, and in the same stock pan, first we are going to little bit deglaze it with water. Deglazing means whatever while we were roasting it, there are so many fats which stays at the bottom. With the help of adding either wine or either water, we deglaze it. That means that residues again come back to and mix it with the water. In the same pan, we are going to add our meat pawa and we are going to brown that as well. Now add the brown meat pawa, the tomato puree, the roasted bones, everything in stock pot. We are going to fill it with cold water till all the bones and everything is nicely dipped into it. After that, we are going to add the sachet, the bouquet garni sachet, and tie it with the handle of the stock. And we are going to continue to simmer for 6 to 8 hours. Skimming frequently, that is very, very important part. If you feel that water is very, very less, you can add little bit, but I would suggest in the start only, you add the water properly. So after 6 to 8 hours, when we will check the stock, it will be a nice, beautiful golden amber color. We are going to strain it through the china cup lined with several layers of cheesecloth. So it will strain absolutely pure. Again then, we are going to cool it and we are going to refrigerate it nicely. So this is how the brown stock has been prepared. We'll move it to fish stock recipe. Over here, We are using a butter, little bit fat in that meer pawa, bones from lean fish. Then again, white wine we are using over here, which gives a little bit flavor to the fish stock. Sachet will be there in that bay leaf, peppercorn, and parsley stem is going to be used. I'm going to explain you how we are going to do it. So over here, butter the bottom of the heavy pot, a stock pot or sauce pot. Place the made pawa in the bottom of the pot and the bones over the top of it. We are going to little bit sweat it. And then cover the bones loosely with a round of, we are going to put it on a low heat. Add the water as required. The cold water we are going to add. And we are going to take just one boil and then we are going to immediately put it for simmer. Add the wine, bring to a simmer, then the sachet also. Now this fish stock does not take as long time as the brown stock takes. So we are going to bring it to simmer again. We are going to keep skimming, which is very, very important. We need to take out the impurities, which is going to be float on the top, and let's simmer for 45 minutes. After that, the stock is ready. We're going to strain it again with a china cap lined with several layers of cheesecloth. And we are going to cool it down absolutely and refrigerate it. If you want, at the end, you can season it with a little bit of salt. So now I hope the stock mystery is getting solved slowly. I hope students, you all are enjoying watching and understanding the basic French terms, which is a stock, how to prepare it. There is a third vegetable stock is also there. That is prepared as same as the fish stock, just the fish is not there. In that, roughly chop all the vegetables. We are going to place all the ingredients in a saucepan, add the water and bring to a boil. It is a very, very simple stock, basic stock, very, very mild flavor. We are going to simmer it for around 45 minutes. And after that, we are going to skim it if necessarily, and we are going to strain and use it. Let's move to the terminology and the glasses and reductions. Remoulade, if you remember in the part 1, I have explained that this is also used as a liquid, which was the part of the components of the stock making. So remoulade is actually means second wetting. When we prepare, now you have all seen the procedure to make the stock. So when we prepare the stock, the residue which is left over mixture, that is again simmered with fresh water. And whatever the leftovers flavor is there, that has been extracted. Though this will be a weak stock because already we have extracted a lot of flavor from it. But it will be richer than plain water. So it is good for making fresh stock. We can use it as a base. Let's move to the glaze. They are made by reducing the good, strong stock. It is a French word. It is pronounced as glace. It is a stock that has been reduced until it coats the back of the spoon. It is so concentrated and reduced by 3/4 or more that sometimes it is solid or rubbery when refrigerated. Depending upon the stock, the flavor of glaze is decided. Now, what are the uses of glazes? Glazes are used as flavoring in sauce making and in some meat, poultry, fish, and vegetable preparation. though only small amounts are needed because they are very, very concentrated. Glazes, the dilutes to original strength, do not taste like the stock they were made from. It gives shine and moist coating to the finished product. They reinforce the quality and tone of the sauce. Glazes strengthen the quality and body of the preparation made by using weak stock because glazes are already very, very concentrated solution. If properly buttered or creamed, it can be used as an accompaniment sauce also. Aspic jellies. Aspic is a savory jelly made from meat stock or sometimes supplemented with a gelatin to ensure that it sets. They are highly clarified and concentrated form of stock. This chapter will only discuss the aspic jelly, which is related to stock. There are various types of aspics can be found, but over here we'll only discuss which is related to the stocks. So jellies are highly clarified and concentrated form of stock. Though reduction, it is possible for the cook to concentrate the natural gelatin content of the stock, creating a jelly. These are used to coat cold foods, providing moisture, protection, and flavor of the product. These jellies gain their savor and quality from the flavor of the stock used. It is the quality of the stock which ultimately determines the quality of the jelly. Calf's feet, pork rind are most gelatinous part of the meat which can be used for the high quality of the aspic jelly. They are used to coat the cold cuts, cold foods of cold buffet. It provides moisture. It protects the flavor of the product. These are the some uses of aspic jellies. Thank you, student. Thank you so much for taking out the time and watching the video. I'm sure you all got the insight of this talk. That's an important announcement. Please attempt the quiz given in the descriptions below the video in YouTube by clicking on the link, especially AISSMS CHMCT students. If you have any query, you can drop a mail on my mail ID, which I have shared in first screen. Please feel free. I will get back to you or I will solve your queries within 24 hours. Have a good day. Thank you. This is the video credit. I've shared the video I've taken from this.